They never sleep, they never stop. They have all the money. They're a monopoly industry, so they have unlimited resources to try and stop anything they don't like from happening.
Morning. Merck is suing the federal government over the Medicare price negotiation provision of the Inflation Reduction
all
Act.
over the country
Calling it, quote,
to try to see if they can find their own drug prices.
One of the most significant laws in our history.
The White House says the costs will be lowered for 10 prescription drugs. The expected first-year savings are $1.5 billion in out-of-pocket costs for Medicare recipients.
Shortly after the law was passed, several pharmaceutical companies and trade groups filed a bunch of lawsuits all across the country.
They have filed 9 lawsuits in different circuits to try and block it.
Pharma's strategy here, I think, is kind of a long-term strategy to get these issues before the Supreme Court, where I think they have a more receptive audience. And I'm not sure I agree with them on that.
It's really not about the fact that they can't afford to accept lower prices. It's about their power. They want the power to dictate prices to the people in this country, something they can't do anywhere else in the world. In 2003, we enacted the Medicare prescription drug law. Up until that time, Medicare didn't cover prescription drugs at all. But when that law was enacted, in the dark of night, Billy Towson slipped into the bill a provision called the Non-Interference Clause that effectively prohibited Medicare from ever negotiating over the prices of prescription drugs.
Why in the world, if we're interested in lower prices for prescription drugs, would we put a prohibition in that Medicare can't use its market share to negotiate better prices for drug companies? I mean, it makes no sense.
What was the logic, or what was the idea or the rationale behind not giving the government the ability to negotiate drug prices?
It was simply that the drug companies didn't want it. They wanted to make as much money as possible. And if there's negotiation, like there is in other countries around the world, then they're going to have their profit margin reduced.
The fight is full on underway, and we will continue to be involved, filing amicus briefs to make sure we put a human face on the issue.
We're filing briefs in these lawsuits across the country that Pharma has brought, trying to challenge Medicare negotiation, to give the courts a patient's perspective on these cases. I think it's really important for the court to know how this case and this law affects everyday patients, everyday Americans who rely on these drugs to stay healthy, and who want to and need to and deserve to pay a better and more affordable price for those drugs. But it really is sort of this question of who makes the policy in this country, right? Is it the legislators who passed this law the first time and the people who benefit from these laws, or is it these big moneyed interests that can either stop the law from being passed in the first place by spending a bunch of money lobbying, and then can run and hire the biggest law firms in the country to challenge these laws in court and try to get the laws stopped by the courts?
There's still a fight ahead, and it may be a long road because we could go all the way to the Supreme Court. But at the end of the day, if we win, the American people will get relief more than they've even seen so far. We are taking the fight to Pharma and really pushing back with the power of people. Pharma has the money. We have the people. That's why we're going to win.